Mom can stay in here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, this one's from Simply Cosmic. They said it's most likely directed towards me, but they want to know if there was an inciting incident in which the disease was revealed. Um, like they didn't know they had hydrocephalus until they had a seizure in class. You know what hydrocephalus is? Hydrocephalus is it's like where you have water on your brain, like fluid on your brain.
The heck.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have the papilledema, and the fluid builds up in your head, and the
Mm.
pressure pushes on your eyes, and they had to go in and do that lumbar puncture.
Mm.
Which, by the way, that the doctor was very impressed that you did that without any kind of sedation. So,
Mm.
knuckles. Um, so that's what hydrocephalus is.
Mm.
But they didn't know that they had hydrocephalus until they had a seizure in class. So they're asking basically if there was something that happened that made the doctors realize that you had muscular dystrophy. We talked
Yeah.
about this a little bit already, right?
I got Duchenne. I mean, not that. I mean, I got the pneumonia.
Yeah, you got pneumonia, and
Mm.
then when you're in the
I don't know
hospital.
how you tell this talking.
Hmm?
You tell it.
But you can tell it. I want to hear what
No,
you.
because I don't know what happened.
You don't remember.
No, I don't know what triggered it.
Um, well, it was like you got sick. Remember, you had like a cold or something,
Mm.
and then it was like maybe 2 days you went from having a cold to just being like on your deathbed, and we could actually see the intercostal muscles
What's
kind
that?
of flexing, little area in between your rib cage, which is usually a sign that you're struggling to breathe. So we took you to the doctor, and the doctor called an ambulance, and they took you to the hospital, and they didn't believe at first that you'd only been sick for 2 days because they said that kids that were that sick, usually it's usually they've been progressing over a long period of time, and so when you were in the hospital, they ran a bunch of tests to try to figure out why the pneumonia got so bad so quickly. And one of the tests they ran were for something called AST and ALT, which are um, liver enzymes. They checked your liver to see how your liver was working, and all those were all elevated. And um, I thought at the time, because I like to read stuff on the internet while we're in the hospital, I thought that it was probably just something that happened because of the antibiotics, and nobody said anything about Duchenne's muscular dystrophy at that point. We um, we left the hospital. It was about 9 days later. You stayed in the intensive care for about 6 days, 5 or 6 days. 9 days later, you got out of the hospital. They asked us to follow up with your pediatrician. They kept testing, and the liver enzymes were still higher even after you finished all the antibiotics. So they sent you to a gastrointestinal doctor, and he ran a bunch of tests. And one of the tests that he ran was a CPK, which is short for creatine phosphokinase, and that came up back in the realm of like it was like 90,000 or something insane like that. And he was the first person to mention the possibility of it being Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And I remember when he said something about it possibly being that, he asked if you walked funny or whatever, and I said, yeah. I mean, he kind of walks a little bit different, but he said, we need to have you take you to a neurologist and have you tested. And I'll never forget. We asked him if it was anything serious, and he said, "Oh no, it's nothing major." But he kind of lied because it kind of is something major, isn't it? But I think he probably just didn't want to have to deal with upset parents on the phone. So then we went to the neurologist, and one of the first things the neurologist did was have you sit on the ground and get up, and that was when she pointed out the Gower sign, and we held out hope that it wasn't DMD, but she ran the genetic testing, and that was when they found it. So it all kind of went back to the episode with pneumonia when you were at least how old was he? Like 6? He's 5. I thought he was 6. He's 5 or 6.
He got diagnosed when he was 6.
Okay. So Yeah, that's right, because the pneumonia happened right before his birthday, and then the diagnosis
And
was
then I got
in April.
flash after I got out.
Yeah, you got a guinea pig when you got out of the
Mhm.
hospital with pneumonia because you had to be in the hospital for your birthday that year.
Yeah.
And that sucked. And then, was it the next year or the year after that you broke your femur?
I think that was 2013. 2013.
Okay, and it was 2012 when he got diagnosed. Yeah, so it was the next year. You got a good memory, dude.
Mhm.
All right, so that's the answer.
I'm glad I'm not dead.
Me too.